Here's why I'm still very excited for the future of Toshi. It's because not too long ago, according to the Cointelegraph, Coinbase was allegedly the best performing S&P 500 stock in June, up around 43%. Why do I think this is so hypothetically amazing for the future of Toshi? It's because, after all, Toshi meme coin on the Base network. The Base network is Coinbase's layer 2. So that's very fantastic. And we got to think about this, right? How many established companies are out there in the S&P 500? How many of them are really regarded as kind of being, very good, according to some people, right? And yet again, Coinbase, best performing S&P 500 stock in June. That is something that really speaks volumes, in my opinion. And the crazy thing is this, at least that's the way you take a look at it. By me believing in Toshi, it's kind of like me also indirectly somewhat kind of tapping into the Base network in a sense, because let me explain what I mean by this. If we take a look at, let's say, the BNB chain, very popular, right? Very amazing, very established. But let's say a meme coin launches on there right now. I mean, it's already had its rise, the BNB chain. It's already kind of been through that 2021 phase, and then it's already kind of been established. But then when it comes to the Base network, it hasn't kind of achieved that type of status hypothetically yet. Or will it ever? Who knows? But then I'm just saying, it hasn't been through that kind of 2021 type of rise, if that makes sense. But then the Base network doesn't have its own native token. So how can I kind of believe in that? Kind of quite essentially believe in an up-and-coming network the way I feel that it is. But then at the same time, because it doesn't have a native token, still believe in it. That is through something allegedly like Toshi, personally for me. I am not telling anyone to buy Toshi, by the way. This is just kind of my perspective when it comes to this. But really, when it comes to the Base network, it doesn't have too many established projects. I mean, let's think about this, right? Of course, there's Toshi, but that's a meme coin. We think about something like Brett, another meme coin, which is many people's kind of premier meme coin, I would say, or hypothetically assume when it comes to the Base network. But then beyond that, there's Aerodrome, which is a decentralized exchange. But who can name 10, 15, 20, in terms of these established projects on the Base network? It hasn't been that way yet. It's kind of crazy to think about how arguably in terms of recognition, Toshi is pretty much a top 3 when it comes to the Base network. Again, that's the way you take a look at it, right? Aerodrome, Brett, Toshi. I mean, there's not like 20, 30 to kind of compete. So this is kind of how early I think hypothetically the Base network still is, in a sense that if we take a look at some other, of its competitors, right, it's already very established. This is kind of not the case in theory yet for me when it comes to Base. And what I like about it as well is that when it comes to Toshi, it's named after Brian Armstrong's cat. Brian Armstrong is the co-founder of Coinbase. So that is something that I find very interesting. I think that's very cool. And Toshi, the name is very similar to Satoshi Nakamoto, which allegedly is the creator of Bitcoin. So then I like the whole vibe here when it comes to Toshi. Because let's say Toshi wasn't on the Base network. Let's say it's like on some other place or whatever. Like, I feel like the energy, kind of the vibe would be a little bit different. Because if we didn't put Toshi, let's say, in this regard of like the Base network, I think a lot of the hype wouldn't really be there. I think a lot of the attention. But then the way you take a look at it is that kind of being in a certain place sometimes does matter. Like, let's say a good project launches on a bad network. The future may look a little bit uncertain, in my opinion, even though I cannot tell the future, but it just kind of feels like that to me. So I think Toshi, hypothetically, maybe chose the right place. Again, the Base network isn't the most established one out there, but I do like its kind of direction because, again, we take a look at somewhat its ties to Coinbase. This is something that really excites me. I feel like Toshi doesn't necessarily have such a bad use case either, because, for instance, there's Toshi Mart, which is, basically kind of like a meme coin launchpad, the way you take a look at it. Not to mention there's Toshi Tools, which will quite essentially help guide someone towards their journey to be building on the Base network. Will they gain mass adoption? Hypothetically, I don't think in a massive scale, because, of course, Toshi, it's a meme coin project, right? But then I'm just saying, I kind of like the effort nonetheless. It's kind of like more so the thought that counts when it comes to this. Now, let's say Toshi were to go to the price of 2 cents. Considering current circulating supply, market cap at that point would be around $8 billion, around a 42x from here. I get it. Some people out there may be thinking, okay, that seems, kind of like, whoa, what is that all about? Take a look at the pullback when it comes to Toshi. But even though some alts out there are beginning to have a slight recovery, the way you take a look at it is that Dogecoin years ago, back in 2021, reached over $80 billion in market cap. So what could hypothetically Dogecoin do, let's say, if we do see this time around a fully fledged type of altcoin season? You know? Would it do better than back then? And that wouldn't surprise me. So if like Dogecoin was able to do that back then, why can't Toshi achieve a glimpse of that maybe, let's say this time around? Now, all I gotta do is just stay patient and just wait and see, because there is no way to tell the future. At least I cannot, right? So then what can I do? I can just stay patient and just believe in the projects that I do believe in, hold, and I just wait. Literally, that's it. Beyond that, I cannot control anything else. So why worry about things that are beyond my control? I'm just gonna worry about things that are within my control, and that's it. I'm just gonna be waiting, staying patient, because it is a patience game, really, the way you take a look at it, because I am not a day trader. I don't use leverage. I don't swing trade. That is not what I do at all. Literally, some people think what I'm doing is kind of boring, but this is what I do, right? I just believe in something, hold, and I just wait. That's it. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I would greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.